5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Very warm good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Utkarsh Tandon welcoming you all to this review analysis of the first day of this ongoing ping ball test, which started from today uh, between India and England at the Narendra Modi International Stadium in Motera at Ahmedabad. Earlier this day, we saw the history being scripted and both the teams being a part of that history because with the world's largest stadium, Narendra Modi International Stadium at Ahmedabad, was inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, and it successfully conducted its first international game, and what a game it has been! Complete domination of Team India as they dismantle the visitors first while bowling and then with their batting. But so it was England who won the toss and elected to bat first, and then for initially it was the pink ball doing its way, as we discussed, that it swung a bit beat of Jasprit Bumrah or Ishan Sharma, the speedster, playing his 100th international test match, a feat which is a rare feat for a fast bowler, and he's second after Kapil Dev to having achieved this feat. So he struck the first, or rather gave the first blow to England, followed by Akshar Patel, the man of the day, as we say, vocal for local. So the local boy getting six for, again, yet another 5-wicket haul, successive 5-wicket hauls, because the last one he picked in the second innings of England at Chepauk, and 3 wickets for Ashwin as well. So England were bundled up for 112, while India at stumps are 99 for 3. They were going well, apart from that Shubman Gill and Cheteshwar Pujara wicket. But it was the big wicket of Kohli which fell just at the end of the day, when the day was about to end. He tried to cut one off the back foot, which was not available to cut, but and just got a leading edge. And Rohit Sharma is batting on 57 not out, so India is 99 for 3. So I have Shirish sir joining me. So welcome, sir. A day dominated by India. No clamors about wicket, because although it was because my first question will be to you about the wicket, because the surface was the talk of the town right after that Chepauk test. That what kind of strip will India provide in this ping ball day-night test? So it was a dry wicket, sir, but
you have a technical problem. I can't hear you.
waiting for to come back.
Now
Okay.
now you're back. I couldn't hear anything of what you said the last 1 minute.
Oh, okay,
You asked a
okay,
question
so
about the wicket. You asked a question about the wicket.
so
Well,
yeah. So my question was, I'll complete it for you. That although it was a dry track which was provided, but with little of grass on it, but there was no turn on offer which was available at Chepauk. Number one. Number two, most of the English batters got out on straighter balls or the armors. So do you think that it was the psychological hurdle which was created by the Chepauk game, and which they carried in this game as well, except for Zach Crawley, who actually didn't play that Chepauk game?
Well, I had said about the Chepauk wicket itself that these kind of wickets would kill Test cricket. It's not a good thing to happen. And I feel the same way about the Motera pitch. It's basically a dust bowl, nothing else. Okay, maybe the ball is not turning as much as it was at Chepauk, but to prepare wickets of this kind and then to try and win, um, I know every country normally, pushes its own strength forward when preparing wickets. Like we go into bouncy, pacey, seaming tracks when you go to New Zealand or when you go to England, and bouncy wickets when you go to Australia. All that is okay. I think there should be some level of equality in for both teams when they go out to bat on a particular pitch. And today's 112 from the English batsman was both. It was a bad commentary on the pitch, and it was also a poor commentary on their ability to handle quality spin. Because you did have quality spin at both ends. You had Ashwin and Akshar Patel. But if you noticed, which is the ball that got the most wickets on the day? It was the straight ball, the straight delivery, not the one that turned. And what was
Yeah,
Akshar Patel's strength? To drop the ball on one spot and to make it do different things. Either you turn it a lot, or you turn it less, or you make it go straight through, or you make it go into the right-handed batsman's pads, and that's how he got his LBWs. Uh, I think it was very very skillful bowling from Akshar Patel. No wonder he got 6 wickets. But it was a similar kind of ball that got Virat Kohli at the fag end of the day. He went to cut a ball which was too close to his body, but it was the straight delivery from Jack Leach. It wasn't the one that was turning. And Joe Root very adroitly changed ends for Leach. He did get 1 wicket from the other end, but when he came on this end, his ball was turning a lot, and he was also using the same kind of strategy that Akshar Patel used. That is, drop the ball on a particular spot and turn it once, turn it more the second time, and then don't turn it at all. Let it go straight through and let the batsman, try and guess or double guess you as to what that ball is going to do. And I predict that tomorrow morning, or rather afternoon, because the test starts in the afternoon, uh, the rest of the Indian batsmen are going to have their hands full of Jack Leach. I don't see any of the other English bowlers troubling the Indian batsmen. England has missed a trick by sending Moeen Ali back and by not fielding Dom Bess. They could have done with 2 spinners. And I think Joe Root may have to do quite a bit of bowling in this game, because I don't think Archer is not bowling anywhere near his fastest. Normally, pace is his main suit, but he's bowling at 137, 138, and it's only the odd ball that comes up to the chin of the Indian batsman that is troubling them. But Archer is not troubling them. Broad is not troubling them. Anderson is bowling very economically, but he's not really troubling the batsman, except there was that one occasion when Ollie Pope dropped a catch at point of
yeah,
Anderson, of Virat Kohli. Other than that, he was bowling very well, very economically, but not troubling the batsman. So I get the feeling that tomorrow it will be Joe Root and Jack Leach bowling in tandem for at least the entire afternoon session. That is the one that goes from 2:30 to 4:30, and the Indian batsmen are going to have their hands full trying to negotiate this. Uh, Certainly, they will not want to bat last on this pitch, or if at all they have to bat last, it may be just to score a handful of runs, maybe 50, 60 runs to try and win the test match. But otherwise, it's not going to be easy to bat on the third and fourth innings of this particular test. So England will have a
yeah.
bad time in the second innings as well. And let's see how many India get. If they get anything above 250, I predict it will be a winning score.
Yeah. Uh, you mentioned about the wickets, but as you only mentioned that most of the dismissals were on the straighter ones or on the armers coming straight back in with the angle, be it of Akshar Patel, Akshar Patel getting wickets or of Cheteshwar Pujara or of Virat Kohli. So there was not much turn or the help available from the wicket, but it was the skill of Indian spinners as they lost the toss today. Unlike England losing the toss in Chepauk, where they had much more help than what we had on this wicket this afternoon, to say this.
Again, you have some technical issues. I can't hear you.
So this afternoon, yeah. So am I audible?
You're audible, but you're not visible. Now you're visible.
Okay.
Say something.
Okay. So
Yeah, now you're audible. Yeah.
So my question that is that rather than clamoring and crying wolf on the wicket, the English players need to apply more skills, and the captain immediately rested this debate during the second test post-match presentation, where he said that it's our batters who need to figure out how to score in these conditions, and our spinners who need to bowl 6 balls consistently on a particular area. And these 2 points were mentioned by Joe Root, and he never mentioned anything about wicket because it's just lame excuse, as conditions are for both the teams. And do you think, sir, that there is difference in application? Because as I mentioned about the help in the wicket, what we got today and what they got at Chepauk.
I would say there is a difference in skill levels. The English batsmen are unable to bat on the Indian turners in the same manner that the Indians are able to bat. I mean, you saw Rohit Sharma batting. He was batting really, really well. And how he was covering his stumps, how he was standing a little bit back when he almost got stumped because he was standing on the line and he was just marginally inside. And Ben Foakes effected a fabulous stumping, but he was saved by a very, very tiny margin. And after that, if you noticed, he was standing a full pace inside the crease, so that even when he stretched forward in defense, the foot would always be well behind the line. So these are little things about batting skills which our batsmen, Indian batsmen, are able to show on the difficult wickets. Whereas the English batsmen, who are not used to turners, and this one was a dust bowl, if you ask me. I mean, there was so much of dust on both parts of both sides of the wicket that they had to bring one of those things to tamp the dust down. It was not a good advertisement for Test cricket. They should not make such an underprepared pitch. This is what I feel. I feel that we have a team which is good enough to be able to take on the best on competitive wickets. Okay, there may be wickets which turn on the third day and fourth day and produce a result on the fifth day of the test. But I can't see this particular test lasting the full distance. I predict that by the end of the third day, we'll already have a result. And of course, if England win this test, then India is out of the Test Championship. If India wins this test, then England are definitely out of the Test Championship. But of course, it will still go down to the last test, where India needs to avoid defeat in the last test. Otherwise, Australia will sneak in. So it's a very interesting scenario.
So you mentioned everything, but now let's talk about the right. So am I visible now?
You've been visible, but you've been frozen,
I had to really ask
and you weren't audible. Some technical hassle which you need to get corrected. Yeah, carry on. You're still frozen. You look like Buster Keaton, the immortal frozen face. Well before your time, of course. This guy used to be in the 1950s. Serious problem. You're frozen and now you're not even audible.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, now you're back.
Yeah. I don't know why there's some technical glitch on my side and it keeps happening. I don't know why, but let's continue. So I was asking for Akshar Patel, comments on Akshar Patel, because a local boy, and as in our country now, it's really common that be vocal for local. So the audience were really vocal for the local boy, and he performed really well. Means England were really unprepared for his stock ball, which comes back in. They judged him on the basis of what they played him at Chepauk, without even knowing that he doesn't get the ball to spin and turn that much.
See, the problem with facing him is that you have to go forward. If you go back, if you go on the back foot, you are in trouble.
Yeah.
You have to go forward and try to smother whatever spin there may be on the ball, whether there is spin or whether it's a straight ball, we don't know. But you have to go forward and smother it. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble. If you play on the back foot, you're asking for trouble. The English batsman did not seem to realize that he is literally bowling on one spot. It is like, I remember I have seen Bapu Nadkarni at Shivaji Park when he used to practice in the early 1960s. He used to put an 8-anna coin, that is a 50 paisa coin, on the good length spot, and he used to drop the ball with his left arm slow exactly on that spot. And he used to hit that spot 8 times out of 10. 8 times out of 10. And if he missed it for the other 2 times, it was by millimeters, nothing more than that. And that is exactly how Akshar Patel was bowling. He was dropping it on the spot, and he was imparting different levels of spin to the ball and different levels of even the position of the seam. He was making sure that either it was a wobbled seam or it was a straight seam. He was dropping it on the spot and letting the ball do the rest, letting the pitch help him. He used to impart a little bit of additional spin sometimes. More often than not, he used to let the ball go straight through, and he gave the batsman a lot of misery because he was bowling also consistently. It wasn't his quickest deliveries, but he was bowling in the region of 85 to 90 kmph. And he said after the day's play, when he was being interviewed, that he had decided to bowl at that particular pace, not faster than that, not slower than that, and to just be consistent and drop it on that particular spot and let the pitch help him. And he performed wonderfully. Imagine, in his first 2 tests, he's got a fifer in each of the 2 tests where he made his debut and his second test. That's a terrific analysis. And especially when you have another class spinner like Ashwin in the side, who's also vying to get fifers. Ashwin beat him to the punch in Chennai, but here he's already ahead of Ashwin by 6 wickets to 3. So let's see what happens in the second innings.
Yeah, you mentioned about a legend in his own class, Mr. Bapu Nadkarni, and Akshar also has his nickname as Bapu. So you mentioned that Akshar is having a dream run, but there is someone else who is having a dream run right from Australia, and he's Ravichandran Ashwin. 3 wickets to his name today as well. So Ravichandran Ashwin, he has something to himself, because today also he does not he didn't go for, except for Joe Root's dismissal, which turned a bit. But apart from that, he got the batters out on that straighter one. So he always has that kind of learning and adapting to every situation. So do you think that now he's become maestro of spin?
I think he's the best off spinner in the world. I mean, there is competition only between him and Nathan Lyon of Australia for that particular accolade, who's the best off spinner in the world. And Ashwin is a very cerebral bowler. He thinks, he bowls 6 different balls during the over. He has the ability to bowl leg spin. He has the ability to bowl differently over the wicket, differently round the wicket. And look, it's not for nothing that he's snapping on the verge of 400 wickets, 400 Test wickets. And very soon he'll probably overtake Harbhajan Singh, who had 414 wickets to his name. And after that, there's only Kapil Dev with 434 wickets. And then, of course, Anil Kumble is more than 600 wickets. So he's way ahead. But Ashwin will very soon become the second best Test wicket taker in India among Indian bowlers. And that can't be a small achievement. I mean, he's been around for quite a long time. There was a time when he and Harbhajan Singh used to bowl together in tandem. Oh, here's Monty Paji. Monty Paji, nice to see you. Hi.
Good. Sat Sri Akal.
What did you think of today's play?
I think the Indian bowlers were very clever, very smart in terms of how they deceived them. Deceived the. Yeah. Yes, these are straight balls, but it's nothing to do with the England batsmen having poor technique. They're deceiving them to play like that. That's what it is. In the way they changed their trajectory. You look at Ashkar Patel, the way he got Zach Crawley, big turner, then goes with the arm. The same identical balls. They just go. One goes with the arm, one just turns really big. So, what do you do? How do you play like that? It's difficult. There's no answer. This is not by luck. This is skill.
Finally, adding a question to it, that what you mentioned about Zach Crawley. So don't you think that it's the ghost of Chepauk which England batters carried on with them in their minds? Because only player who displayed authority was Zach Crawley, and he didn't play the Chepauk's Test. So don't you think that it was the ghost of Chepauk which was in their mind, because the wicket wasn't that turning?
Yeah, look, Chepauk is obviously playing on their minds, but I think what the real problem is that they're underestimating Akshar Patel. Too much focus is on Ashwin, and I don't think they sort of know how to play him. They need to have a real game plan with Akshar Patel, and the game plan that I would like to think is, look, he's gonna bowl a turner, he's gonna bowl a non-turner, right? Play the line with the bat. Do not pads. You cannot play with your pads. You got to get pads out of the equation, and then suddenly your feet start moving quicker. You judge the line quicker. Any quick movement, they sort of plant themselves and hits the pad. The pad is there to protect me so I don't get bowled. But he's using that to his advantage. He's setting them up, and then he lines his line is at the pads. So he lines the ball at the pads, and if it misses your bat, he's hoping it hits the pads, and then you'll get you out.
That's the classic Anil Kumble style of dismissal, hitting for, aiming for the pads, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Of course, Kumble was a right arm leg spinner, and Akshar Patel is a left arm orthodox. But the idea of the line is exactly that, hitting the pads. And I think more straight balls got wickets today than turning deliveries. I think at least 5 wickets, including the ones of 2 Indian batsmen, Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli, fell to straight balls.
The count will rise to 7.
Okay. There you go. With the straight ball. Yeah. I mean, getting wickets with the straight ball, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's...
So, Paji, in your view, it was the flight and the pace variation that deceived the England batters rather than the turn, or is that they went for the turn and don't you think that one of the reasons is that they are not reading the ball right from the hand, which is the basic which is taught in India?
Yeah,
out spin.
I think they just know how to play with the trajectory and the lines. So that's what they're doing. And I think the England batsmen are just sort of struggling. They're sort of thinking, what do we do? What guard should I take with Akshay Patel? Do I take middle?
Yeah.
Do I take leg? When it pitches on middle and off, it turns and bounces. And then he bowls with the arm. So what do I do? What you do is you play for the non-turning ball. And if it turns and it hits the outside edge and you get out, fine, you get out. That's not a problem. Okay? In fact, it's a lot easier to play when the ball's turning. It's the other one which skids on. So I think they've got to play. You see Virat Kohli's defense. He gets his pad outside the line of the ball, so he allows his bat to come into the ball. And if it turns and bounces, they don't mind that. They'll let it turn and bounce. It's fine. It's turned and bounced. It doesn't matter. But that's how they got to play.
Did you notice that most of the English batsmen played on the back foot? They didn't go forward to smother the spin or catch the ball as soon as it bounced, on the half volley, rather than don't allow it to turn much. They just went back and played, and then they couldn't figure out whether it was going to turn or it was going to come straight.
Well, I think that's what it is. I think their mindset is to play on the back foot, but then what Akshay and Ashwin do is they bowl a flatter trajectory, get that ball to skid on a bit, and then they'll get you coming forward by bowling it a bit with a higher flight, wider arm, get the ball to drift, and then he'll turn and bounce, and then they'll come at that ball. So then they'll think, right, let me stay back. Now they know, as a spinner, right, I know he's going to play back now because he's come forward, he's going to look to play back. I'm going to bowl the same ball, but I'm going to just bowl it with my arm, flatter trajectory, and then either they're coming forward or back, however they're making the decision, but they've set him up. And the way they set him up is actually it's a build-up of it, and that's what they got to. England batsmen need to work out, right, how they're building us up to then get us to not pick the non-turning delivery. And that's what I think that they don't have an answer to. Because Akshay Patel knows that I know how to set them up. He looks at it's so much to do with your positioning of balance at the crease, the way the bat's coming down, how they're playing their shots, the tentative moods, so many things you have to take into consideration. And at the moment, the England batsmen just feel a little bit, clustered. They're not confused. Maybe it's a crowd noise, big stadium. It makes a huge difference. And you can just feel that they're searching for the ball rather than committing to their game plan and thinking, right, get forward, play the line of the ball, pad out of the way. I'm going to stick to my game plan. And I think just the whole new stadium, bigger crowds, I think the England team are finding that quite intimidating.
I can think of one batsman who would have handled both Akshar Patel and Ashwin, especially Akshar Patel, well. And that's Ian Chappell of Australia. He used to use his feet and go out and, double guess the bowler. So that unless the bowler is very, very clever and throws a ball wide or down the leg side for the wicketkeeper to catch and make a stumping, he was always up to the pitch of the ball, and he never got the bowler to beat him either in the air or off the pitch because he was right there. What do you say?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think Ian Chappell, is a beautiful player of spin bowling, and that's another thing. They don't want to come out of the crease. If you want to come out of the crease against, let's say, a left-arm spinner, if you're a left-hand batsman, or against Ashwin. Don't worry, it's okay. It's okay to come out, just defend, come out, kick it. That's Ian Chappell was a brilliant player of that. There's one.
Yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Paji. So don't you think that England misread the conditions and missed the trick, or sort of lost the tactic by playing both Anderson and Broad together? Because yesterday also everyone was of the opinion that they will not play together. And on the other hand, India went with three spinners. They dropped Kuldeep Yadav, brought back Washington Sundar, but who was a mere spectator in the first innings as he didn't get a chance to bowl. But do you think that England missed the trick here in the selection?
Look, I think that the trouble is when you're thinking that it's that one session, right, where my three seamers will come into play, but it's been the spinner. Jack Leach has been taking the wicket where, I think there's got to be clear defined roles. If three seamers are playing, then you have Stuart Broad, which he has, 4 or 5 overs, spells where he lifts his sort of, get a bit of movement out of the ball. And if he does that, fine. If he doesn't get him off, you bring in Jofra Archer, bowl quick. That's all you're there for, to bowl quick. And then Jimmy Anderson to bowl, the other side of things. But, I'm sure Jofra Archer also wants to develop other skills where he can just, surprise them with the quicker one. It's exhausting bowling quick all day long, in these conditions. So he probably wants to see if he can get the ball to maybe swing in the air seam and then bowl that quick bouncer. And I just think that if they're going to go that route, they've got to have, a clear way of thinking, right, this is how we're going to do it. And they've already gone that decision. Have they misread the pitch? We don't know. 3 wickets down. Tomorrow, if they bowl them up for under 200, people will be saying, well, actually, it's the England fast bowlers who are, they found a way of getting wickets here. So tomorrow is a big day for both teams to look, I would most likely say India have misread the pitch. Let's not deny that. I think they could have played another spinner. But because it's pink ball, it may just help them. It may just, they may just come out of the game not as heavily scarred as they probably could be with it if it was a red ball. If it was a red ball, and yeah.
But did you notice one thing?
Well, I think it's because of the pink ball. That's why.
Did you notice one thing today? Jofra Archer was struggling to reach even 140. He was well below his pacey best. He hit 150 clicks in Chennai quite often. Today, not a single ball crossed. I think his fastest ball was 142. And mostly he was in the late 130s, 137, 138. What do you think could be wrong with him?
It's rhythm. It's not, I think what's wrong with someone. It's more about rhythm. Some days the rhythm is great. Other days the rhythm is not so great. So, his probably rhythm isn't feeling great in the morning with a bit more, heat. His body's looser. He'll get his timing better. So that's all it is. He's very much a rhythm bowler, and when his timing isn't right, his paces do come down. But when his timing's great, he can really fire it up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, gentlemen. Am I audible?
Yeah. Okay,
Sorry,
I've got to go.
muted.
All right, I've got to go.
Paji. Okay.
I have. Okay.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yep. Yeah, you are. I think we've
sorry,
we've had a chat about everything. Paji has had to go. I also need to leave. I think we can wrap up because there's nothing that's been left unsaid.
Some serious technical glitch, and I'm unable to hear you.
Okay.